Hi, and welcome to the new session of Sophos Certified Engineer, Firewall Engineer version 18. Today we are going to the topic of Sophos Remote SSL VPN. And I took a quite long time to come back with the new video. This is because of while I'm working with this Sophos Remote SSL VPN configuration, I get some issues like I could not able to my VPN configuration on my client's system. And then I contacted with my Sophos support, and after quite a long time, they couldn't find out what is the problem. But I keep on working on with the knowledge bases and some support forums. But I get some hints like what will be the problem, and I find it's something related with the certificate. And finally, I could able to solve it. So I thought I can make the video. Maybe it will help many people who may be facing the same kind of problem with the Sophos Remote SSL VPN client and server firewall configurations. Okay, now I'm not going to the theoretical part of what is Remote SSL VPN. It's easily available on the Google. Like you can find what is SSL VPN and what is the use, pros and cons and all. So I'm directly going to the setup, like how we can configure the SSL VPN on the Sophos XG version 18 and how we can connect it from the client such as Windows, Mac and phone. Okay, now the steps are, first we will define what is the SSL VPN groups and users. It's optional because there is like you must have a users. It's either you can create it locally or you can import from your AD or LDAP user accounts. So you can define like you want to have users from where, it's whether it is from locally or from your any other way like have AD or what. And it's optional to create the group. You can just directly use the user, but it's for easy management. I suggest you must create the group. Next is you have to define the local subnet and remote SSL VPN subnet. Optional aware because you can use it as your default LAN option as your local subnet. And if you want to assign, maybe you have multiple VLANs, so you want to only access to particular LAN or particular network range, so you can just create the particular network range and you can allow the VPN to that particular range. And you can assign like what range of IP addresses from your VPN client should connect to your corporate network. You can create that here. Then you can define the remote SSL VPN policy and verify the authentication, verify the allowed zones for SSL VPN, configuring advanced SSL VPN settings, creating the firewall rule, then finally the configuring SSL VPN client. I will create this video as two parts. One is the VPN's firewall configuration and another is my SSL VPN client, how you can download the configuration and how you can connect it. And there are some important points you must notice, like if you require your SSL VPN and user portal to be available on the WAN zone. I mean, if you want to access the WAN access using your VPN, it's better. You must, the Sophos highly recommends you must enable the MFA or OTP for the safe side. And if you don't have a public IP for your firewall and you are behind a NATA device, you must give your computer's hostname. If your DNS is functional, you can give the hostname at the set the public IP in the override hostname field. I mean, if you don't have a public IP for your device, and you must set up the forward to that particular your VPN IP address on your first device. I mean, on your NAT device. The NAT device has to be configured to forward the SSL VPN connection to that. I mean, all the requests to your VPN requests to your XG firewall should be configured for forwarding to the XG firewall. Okay, so now we can go back to the step like directly go to create the users and group. Before that, I want to tell you for this video, I created the XG machine as a fresh one, so don't check with my previous video. Maybe that network configurations are different. Why I create a new firewall for this one? Because I told you I face a lot of some problem for downloading my configuration with due to the certificate issue. So maybe in this one also, maybe you will face the same problem, I wish you should face it so you can understand what is the problem I faced and how you can resolve the problem. Okay, directly go to the firewall. Okay, this is my firewall, and this is my network. I just want to introduce my network here. That is my port A, which is 192.168.0.230, and my port B is 192.168.1.network. So maybe in my previous video this may be different. And I go to Control Center to let you know that I'm using the Sophos 18 GA build 379, which is the latest one available in the market at present. Okay, so I'm going to create the users. Okay. No, sorry. Go to authentication. So I want to create my users and groups. This only for the test video. It's based on your network and the configurations. It might vary. So I'm going to create my first user here, and okay, sorry. Better than that, I can first create the group. Okay, I go to group. There are, by default, there will be 3 groups will be there. You can add the users to any of these group, and you can assign the settings and policies on that one. Or you can particularly create a new group for the VPN only. I'm just going to create a new group, new Remote SSL VPN group. My group type is normal, and I'm putting myself in quota for unlimited internet access and allowed all the time. Because I'm not going to create any restrictions for this one, so I'm just going to save it. No other changes are required. Okay, so now I have my Remote SSL VPN group with unlimited internet access, and there is no particular time limit for that. I'm going to users, add user. I'm just creating one user. Is okay, Jack, and username is also Jack. My password, I'm good 1234 1234, and it's a user, and email is a jack at sflabs.com. Anything what depends on your network and your email address, you just provide your company email provides there, and I add him to the group Remote SSL VPN. So you can see by automatically myself in quota, and access time will be changed to the parameters of Remote SSL VPN group. Okay, go and save it. Okay, done. Now we can see, we can hear, we already defined the SSL VPN group and users. Now you can define your local subnet and Remote SSL VPN. If you only have one local subnet, you don't need to separately add it, because you can select it while creating the policy. You can select your LAN. If you have multiple VLANs and multiple network and which is already connected, you can just assign. So I'm just for that one, just for practical part, I show you how to create it. Okay, I'm going to my here, go to hosts and services. In IP host, I'm going to add a new IP host. I can just say local subnet, which I want to give access to. And my network is 192.168.0.0 network with the subnet mask of this one. Okay, then save it. And my remote subnet, for example, I'm just changing here my remote subnet IP version 4 network mask. I'm just giving 10.0.0. By default, even if you give here a different IP address, and by default there will be 10 range IP will be configured automatically for the VPN access. You can again change it at a place where I will show you. So I'm just giving here 10.0 range with the subnet mask of the same. Okay, save it. Okay, now I'm done. Now it's what we done is we create the local subnet and this is a VPN subnet. Now we go to defining the remote SSL VPN policy. Okay. Now we go to authentication, and you go to services to make sure your firewall authentication is local and your SSL VPN authentication is also local, unless you don't have another authentication server like AD or LDAP. If you want to authenticate your users using AD or LDAP, you can add your authentication server here, the IP address of your authentication server, and select that one. Also, for your firewall authentication, you want to decide like your firewall will be authenticated by whether you're locally or using your authentication server. So for me, for the practical part, I'm using my firewall authentication as a local authentication, and my VPN authentication, so VPN authentication is also local authentication. So make sure this is correct selector, and I go back to the VPN. So this is the default settings. You go to SSL VPN remote access. There will be nothing there, and go to add my remote SSL VPN policy 1 and policy member, so I can select my group. So that's why I say you can select a user, you can select group. So for better administration, I'm going to select the group. So okay. Oh, now is the tunnel access. You can see here use as a default gateway. I'm just selecting the option is off. Why? I'm going to use a split tunnel because I don't want my users, all the traffic go through my firewall to the internet. So if I select to open it, if I select this one that is called full access tunnel, that means all your network traffic to the internet will be go through your VPN. So it makes your VPN more congested. So I only want to use my corporate applications only access to through the VPNs to my corporate network. So there is no other traffic I want on my network. So so I select this split tunnel VPN. So I just keep it as off. And my permitted network, you can select here. You can select my local subnet 1, 2, 3. If you have 3 subnet, or maybe you have 8 subnet, but you only want to access 3 subnet through the VPN, so you can select. First you can define in there in the IP host. You can select it from here. So you just imagine you didn't create any IP host such as local subnet here. So you can select port A, which is my LAN. I already assigned, and both are same in this situation, in this scenario. So I just for your practical part, just select local subnet. Its IP address is the same as my LAN. And now 6 ones and go to apply. Okay, this is done. And go to administration, device access. Okay, this is a zone. You can know the VPN. You can make sure from the LAN it should be SSL VPN and user portal is available. And from WAN, make sure the SSL VPN and portal is available. Then only the users can log into their user portal and download the VPN configuration. See, I'm just adding this is not part of VPN. I want to access my system through the WAN. You can see the VPN. This is not important. Just make sure LAN and WAN, SSL VPN and user portal are ticked. Okay, apply. The next step is go to rules and policies and create a firewall rule. Create a new rule, remote SSL VPN 1. For any rule, you can give any name here, and the position by default is the bottom, and it will be automatically assigned arranged on your firewall. Okay, now important part, source. You should select VPN. Destination, you can select here remove any, and you can select what is my your local subnet? Means I want access from VPN to my local subnet. You can select it as any, no problem. So I'm here. I'm just selecting local subnet, or for easy configuration, you can set it as default. So from source zone to any network and devices. I mean, from VPN to any network and devices, all the time. Destination zone is my LAN. You can define whether your VPN users can only access LAN or they can access WAN. If you select this one, the VPN users can access your WAN network, WAN access. I mean, they can access the internet. So, but for security part, I'm just configuring my VPN users only can access the LAN. Okay, I'm select the LAN. Destination network, any LAN network, or you can define which particular network they should be only able to access. So I can only, if you have a 3 or 4 network, you can just decide I only can access local subnet. That means only 192.168.0 network they can access. But for there is no issues, I can give them any. Okay. Here, you just select match non-users. Select your remote. Okay. This is the only configuration you need to make in the firewall rule for the basic configuration without any extra things, extra configurations or advanced configurations. You can just configure only this part and click save. Okay, you're done. So we almost completed all the part. We defined SSL VPN group and users. We defined the local subnet and remote subnet. We defined the remote SSL VPN policy. We verify the authentication services for SSL VPN. Verify the allowed zones, that means the device access for SSL VPN. Now, this is the last part. I mean, configuring advanced SSL VPN settings. This can be checked after you creating the rule, no problem. Okay, we go to confirm the settings of VPN. Go to configure VPN. Go to show VPN settings. You can see your SSL VPN settings. As this part, please make sure you have the appliance certificate. If you have a custom certificate, you can select it from here and select the custom certificate. You see here IP address range. I mentioned for my VPN is a 10 range, so its select is 10.81.235.45 to 234.55, and here you can change what your VPN client should get the IP address. So if I say is, for example, I select is 192.168.100.1 to 100.200, so all my VPN client will get that IP address range. Okay, I'm not going to change any. Oh, if you want to add your VPN any DNS IP address for your VPN client, you can add it here. VINs, you can add it here, and if you have any domain name to assign for your clients, you can add it here. Okay, I'm not going to change any settings at present here. Just verify to show you what IP the clients will get, so we can make sure the clients will get the same IP address. Okay, apply. I'm just not changing anything, so just apply that. Okay, we are done with all the configurations for the VPN part, and now the last one is configuring SSL VPN client. That I will make it in a new video. So thanks for watching. Please comment, please subscribe if you like the video.